Hello YouTubers, Tross here, playing some more Kerbal Space Program. We still have the crew up on Minmus, but I thought I'd take a look at what missions, or what contracts are available. Hey Gene! Now we have a contract for building a outpost on the moon, but we have lots of time to accept that. We need some data from the space around the moon, and maybe on the way back we'll be able to get that. We'll have to see. Last time we picked up this, there's just a few places we have to visit near Kerbal Space Center, so that should not be hard. We'll have to see when we'll get to that. And we have explored Minmus, which, just coming back and recovering the scientific data will get us that completion. We have nearly 1.5 million funds, and we need something like 3.3, 3.4 to upgrade the R&D center, which is basically our next thing to do. Now, we just put a station in orbit around Minmus, and here's one to put one in orbit around Kerbin, and I think that would be something interesting to do, but it doesn't really have that big of a completion bonus. Not when compared to, let's say, putting one on the surface of the moon, which is basically double the completion bonus. However, there's also put one in orbit around the sun, basically. Get it out of Kerbin orbit. So maybe we could somehow combine two or all three of those missions into one rocket. Nothing else here. Satellites in specific orbits, we've done that. Temperature scans on the moon. It pays well, but we've done that. So I think I'm gonna take both of these. We still can take one more contract. I'll leave that open just in case we do maybe get to fly by the moon and plant the flag. So, yeah, that's basically an extra almost 100,000 if we could possibly do that. Yeah, let's focus on the moon here. Oh, I apparently focused on that. Yeah, here's the temperature scans one. I don't think we can not easily get to all of them. I mean, if they're all kind of in a row or something, but you're gonna need to take a few different maneuvers to get all of them. So let's head back to the lander over here. Right on the edge. We do have, as far as I recall, one free or not yet used goo canister and Materials Bay. So, thinking these darker areas are the highlands. We are currently located at some Midlands, so maybe getting to the highlands and then heading home, possibly past the moon. Where? Well, the moon's far, but by the time we get back, I mean, we could maybe intercept it anywhere. So let's go fly. Alrighty, here we are. How you guys doing? Yeah, this Materials Bay here and Goo canister has not yet been used. I believe we have already... Maybe we have not logged temperature or seismic data. Or I think we did and we just stored it. Alright. We are over here and it is getting kind of hard to see. So I'm gonna... This looks like one of the darker areas, and that's slightly north, but, you know, east of where we are. Slight bit north. So I think we are going to take off and head for there. So that's east there. We'll have to make a quick correction once we lift off. Plenty of fuel. We're good on monopropellant too. We have more than 3/4. So let's lift off and head over there. In 3, 2, 1, throttling up. And we have lift off. Throttling up. Checking the map. We don't need to get too quick. We're actually nearly in orbit. I think orbit, you can get in orbit at 160 meters per second or so. Didn't plant a flag at the second place, but that's okay. That looks like it's over that darker area. We shall see. It's a little over 3.5 minutes away. Okay, yes, this does very much seem like a higher location. I don't know what the altitude is. But, yeah, we are definitely getting close to the ground here. Down a little so we don't overheat. Basically trying to come to a stop. Alright, I think that is close to being straight down. This does look like a darker material we're over. Pretty hard to see on the map. But, basically just falling down here. Gonna wait till the lights hit the surface, and then we know we have about 400 meters. And I don't think we'll pick up too much speed before that happens, but if we get going up to 50 meters per second, I may start burning. Alright, it looks like I'm not quite at the top here, but I hopefully should be good and hopefully won't be too sloped. Alright, there's the lights. 16, 15, 12, 5, and we are drifting a bit, and we're going back up. Alright, rather... I'm gonna try heading for the top here. We were drifting. It looked a bit sloped, probably less sloped than where we were just landed. But if I can get further closer to the top here, I think that will be a little better. Especially since I'm trying to land in the highlands. I don't want to, just miss the edge. Starting to come down. So I'm going to thrust up a bit. Don't think I'm far enough along. Alright, the summit looks to be about over here. Well, roughly heading for it. Probably won't land on the exact summit, but this will be a lot closer than we were before. And it will likely be a highlands. It does look like we are no longer getting power at all. Wherever we were before, we were over here before. We're just getting some slight power somehow through our solar panels. Alright, we are coming down now, which is good. At some point, want to really arrest our horizontal motion. Gonna start doing that now. Alright, that looks to be pretty good. Except that's orbit. That always gets me. That's why we were drifting last time. Oop. Alright, that will be good. At least relatively good. Alright, we're at 5 kilometers up off the flats. There's the light. Let's turn on RCS. Just in case we begin to tip. I think this is flatter though. Alright, coming down. About 6 meters per second. 5 meters per second. This looks much flatter. Under 4 meters per second. 3 meters per second. We are drifting slightly. 2 meters per second. 1 meter per second. Touchdown. Very nice. Slight wobble. Not bad. Get a crew report. And somehow we are still in the Midlands. How much higher do you want me to go? Well, that's weird. Wondering if this area does not have a highlands at all. Try a little further east. quickly looking at the wiki, there may be one little bit of highlands. I'm gonna guess it's this hill over here. We're moving at quite a decent clip horizontally. We're just about to begin falling down again. Hopefully now we are headed for the highlands. We're still going up somewhat. Gonna get ready to break, at least stop our horizontal movement. I'm not sure exactly where this peak is, but that may be it over there, but we're not too far away. We're traveling at a decent clip. I'm just afraid we won't be able to slow down before we impact. We don't have the greatest thrust. Backups again. Alright, that should be coming straight down now. If this is not the highlands, then we're heading home. Let's turn on RCS. We're not quite at the peak. We're under 5,000. Not sure what qualifies highlands as highlands, if it's an actual altitude or it's just a particular area. Come down a bit quicker. Alright, slow down to... Don't tip. Okay, RCS and SAS righted us again. Crew report, and we are in the highlands. Great, let's keep that data. Let us observe the mystery goo. And keep that data. Observe the Materials Bay. Samples you process, you begin to turn your thoughts to how much Minmus looks like a mint dessert. And discover you are now hungry. Keep that data. Keep our hunger data. Alright, let's get Bill out here this time. Let's take thermometer, accelerometer data. Let's take an EVA report. Great. That's actually... You were supposed to jump. Not fall in slow motion. Turn on your little headlights there. Let's take a surface sample. Probably not edible. And let's plant the flag. Highlands landing location. Alright. Overdid it a bit there, guy. Okay, we did a crew report, we did an EVA report, we gathered a surface sample. Let's get in. Let's get in. Yeah, those were the things we collected out of the accelerometer and the temperature sensor, because we had already gathered them in the Midlands. So let's now gather them in the highlands. And I think that's everything we need. We are ready to go back to Kerbin. Now, we're not going to stop at our little science lab. We'll get more science by taking all these things back. If we did want to go up to, if we did have more fuel and want to land back here, we could go to the science lab and process some of this before sending it off, but I don't think that's something we're going to do. I think we have enough science for now. We can send another mission back in another time and try to hit all the different flats. Hello? No. It is supposed to be right above us. Oh, there it is. It's only 20 kilometers away. Which is much closer than where we just came from. But no, we will head back, and the only thing I'm going to try to do is maybe swing by the moon on our way back. So let's lift off and head east. We're going to lift off in 3, 2, 1. Up to 90%. let's put the gear up. So I'm coming back. And much to east with slight nose up so we gain some altitude. So we don't even need to be that nose up now. We're going to gain altitude pretty good. In fact, let's stop it there. How are we doing, actually? Yeah, we're kind of in exactly the wrong place. Alright, that will get us circularized. And then we need to, like, burn about here to head home. Basically to slow. We're orbiting, or Minmus is orbiting Kerbin like this, so we fire this way, we'll slow down. Minmus will head this way quicker than we will, so we'll fall behind, and eventually, well, relatively head this way, but in reality we'll be heading this way, and, you know, we should be able to hit the moon, and all we need is a crew report or something like that at the moon to fulfill one of the other contracts that we have open. Forgot to do that at the moon last time we were there. Okay, we have about 4 minutes. So let's time warp here. Let's pull this up so we can see that timer counting down. Actually, let's do the burn now because... Oh no, we are still a little bit ahead of the... That'll be the apoapsis after we... not before. Alright, so we're in the sun again. Fully charged up. We don't need to be too accurate here. So I'm going to start half throttle about now. Go. Okay, we are in orbit. It's not a perfect orbit, but it's an orbit. That's all we really need at this point. Our biggest problem with heading back is going to be Minmus's inclination relative to the moon's. So if we burn here, that's gonna send us... Oh, look at that. I didn't even try. That's going to send us back, and we are going to wind up hitting the moon, or at least getting close to it. So, let's get that up, and adjust here so we come down, I'm going to say near side, so that's $23. Should be good. Would like to be under 20, but we can do a small burn there to adjust that. And that's only 100 meter per second burn. Look at that. And that's in 31 minutes. orbital. Let's do free cam. That looks pretty good. Let us fast forward here for our orbit, or at least 3/4 of an orbit here. Yeah, we were very near orbital before. We're only going 140. You don't need to be going very fast around Minmus to stay in orbit. Alrighty, we are approaching. Let's get lined up for this burn. It's a 21 second burn. Gonna start at maybe 14, and we have to do like 90% here, so that's 14. Slow down a little bit. Yeah, look at that. We are heading away. Alright, I'm gonna throttle down here. To get this pretty darn close. Alright, let's cut that and well, I can't tell if we're going to be hitting the moon or what, but that's really close. So we are heading away from Minmus. It'll be flying past the places we landed, and there's the station a bit behind us. But we'll be saying goodbye to Minmus in it momentarily. So let's time warp here. There's our landing site, and technically that's our third landing site because we did touch down once with the fuel tank and then lift up again before it came with us. And there's where we went in the highlands, and we should be getting. Oh, yeah, we just came out into the sun. Alright, we have time. We got nearly a day until we leave Minmus. And 10 days until we hit the moon. Yes, we did not pick a very fast method of getting home. I'm going to slow down for these region changes. Sphere of influence changes. I've read that, or been told that they can cause some miscalculations at high warp. 3, 2, well. Alright, if that moved, it didn't move much. We're about 9 days away. So we are traveling in the same direction as Minmus, just not as fast, and that's why we'll be falling back. And look at that, we have basically a free return, it looks like. Maybe. Although, looks like it will be on the night side, but there's not too much we can do about that. Might as well just stay in the map here. So there's our station and the satellite going around, and the moon going around. And we are coming in. There's the moon. $7,000 going to be a real nice low pass. Okay. Well, 6, that's even lower pass. That may be like literally scraping the surface there. Okay, this is going to be like a RCS burn here, 0.5 meter per second. So let's turn on RCS. $9,000. Alright, we are on our way. How much time? We still have... oh, we got an hour here, so... what exactly... lag there. Not sure exactly what happened. Space around the moon. That's all we're looking for. Okay. I'm gonna maybe get a Kerbal out on EVA and try to get... I believe you get different EVA over different biome signs. So maybe we can pick up 2 or 3 of them on our way past here. Let's add a mover there just so we have a little countdown clock. Seven 26. 20 minutes. Ten minutes. Five minutes. 2 minutes. Well, time is up, but we're still higher here than we really want to be. Let's come out of warp. I want to face the North Pole, basically. Let's turn off RCS. We don't need RCS. Alright, and this will be pretty good. We get Bob out on EVA here. Turn on your lights and make sure you're holding on. Just above the moon's highlands. Let's keep that data and board. And EVA again. And grab. And turn your lights on. Still above the highlands. So it's hard to see what we're actually above. But we did get highlands before. Still highlands. I think we'd be moving pretty quick. At least it feels like you're moving pretty quick. Can't see any big craters. Would have liked to have been over a pretty big crater. EV report. Hey, we're over the Midlands now, but apparently we already have that. How much time? We got about a minute and a half here. Alright, let's... Can't time warp while Kerbals are on a ladder. Slip down and move that board. We will time warp a little bit. EVA. Nope, still the Midlands. Midlands. Hoping we get maybe a Midland Crater or something. Out of the Hidden crater in there somewhere. I know there are add-ons that will tell you exactly what you're over at any point, what biome you're in, basically, but I like going vanilla. Alright, we are actually leaving the moon now. Still above the Midlands, though. That's gotta be a big crater, right? Northwest crater, hey! Let's keep the data and board. And EVA again. Alright, so we apparently are over one of the big craters. Or we were. Now we're still over the moon's northwest crater. It's really hard to see. Oh yeah, I can kind of make it out there. Alright, we're probably going to be over the northwest crater for at least a bit of time. Let's fast forward. That looks like it may be outside the crater. We will see. It looks like we're approaching a previous landing site. We're still over the northwest crater. Looks like we were pretty close to here previously. I'm not sure at what point it no longer counts us as just above. Now we're back over the Midlands. And we are back in the sun, so our solar panels should be charging. There you are. Still above the Midlands. Still just above. I thought that would have ended by now. Maybe it's 60? Well, still the Midlands. And now we are high. Okay, well, we got 2 pieces of data and all we needed was 1. So let's board our spacecraft and see what's going to be happening here. Alright, we are going to leave the moon's influence in an hour and 15 minutes. We will be basically here and headed rather steeply down towards Kerbin. So we'll probably burn to raise that, so we just graze the atmosphere. And if I'm really lucky, we can slow down enough that we will basically come out of the atmosphere but then re-enter on the sun side. That will probably take another burn to do. So let's time warp here. We don't have much else to do. Let's go back to this view. plenty of fuel left. The only thing is, we will probably be needing some of that fuel during landing. I'm not sure we have quite enough parachutes on here. You see, we came in at 800 meters per second, and the way we came across the moon here, it's really slowed our orbital speed down. Kind of a reverse gravity assist, slowing us down instead of speeding us up. I believe if you go in front of an object in its path, like we just did, you wind up slowing down, where if you come behind, it basically drags and pulls you along and increases your speed. At least that's how I think it works. Alright, we got about 15 more minutes or so. And yeah, I really don't care about time warping here, but I want to really adjust our trajectory as soon as possible. Alright, there we are. So let's add a maneuver. And it's probably not the best. Get that to about 40, I think. No, stay. There we go. $30 will probably be capturing us. Not quite sure if 40 will be enough to slow us down, though. So let's split the difference and say 35. 36. I'd rather not get caught and need to use a little fuel to slow down. Alright, so this is actually a bigger burn than it took to get us off the surface of Minmus. Almost. We wound up only going 140, but we did. Some of our thrusts went to raising us up off the surface. So, all right. Now the node's far ahead. It doesn't really matter that much, I don't think. Probably not the most efficient burn. I probably could have gone out sideways more to widen this orbit, but we have fuel to spare, so I'm not really that worried. Not bad. Okay. Now it is basically fall for about a day. So that is what we shall do. to... Alright, we have obviously picked up a lot of speed. Just go on into the shadow of Kerbin. And, oop, another hitch there. Let's slow this down to 1x. And we're going to retract our solar panels. Because they're not going to like the atmosphere that much. We're also going to turn retrograde. And we're using quite a bit of power, but we do have batteries for a reason. Alright, we are at 100 kilometers now. And, let's see. I'm not even sure where we are exactly. Okay. Kerbal Space Center is approximately here. So we have just kind of swung past it. And we're about to enter the atmosphere at over 3 kilometers a second. Hopefully I am going deep enough to at least slow that to 2.5 kilometers per second. Yeah, if we could lose 500 to 700 meters per second, that really, that'd be what I'm hoping for. How far out? We are 1 minute. We may not be going low enough. Yeah, we're still picking up speed here. Alright, we are beginning to slow down. But obviously not greatly. We can actually... we're not doing too bad, though. Alright, we are approaching our periapsis. Hey, we're getting some heating effects here. We've slowed maybe 100 meters per second. Alright, we are heading back out. Yeah, we're not going to have slowed as much as I would have liked. We'll probably lose another 100 or so on the way out. Hey, but yeah, look at that. We have brought our orbit down to about an hour and a half. Now I could try to land back at Kerbal Space Center. You know, I may just roll the dice on that. So we're here. In an hour, let's say, after all our slowing, we'll be back here. Well, Kerbal Space Center will have rotated around about 1/6 of the way, which is actually going to be rather close to there. So I'm going to say that might not be a bad idea. Now we'll still be landing on the dark side, potentially in water, but it'll at least be rather close to Kerbal Space Center, so that our recovery will be as much as possible. We are back in the sun. We do have these tiny solar panels which are getting a little bit of energy. So we're charging slowly, and yes, we are fully back into space. So we can time warp here. So this episode's getting a little long, and I thought it would be a short one. We'd need something to do at the end, but finding the highlands on Minmus took some time and a few tries. We are charging. I will. Really? No, really? Extend just one set of panels. Time warp here. We'll fully charge up with just the one panel. Alrighty. Should be approaching our periapsis. Apsoapsis, sorry. Yeah, we just passed it. And we are coming back down again. Heading back onto the dark side again, momentarily. Okay. There we are. Let's retract the panel. Alright. It looks like we won't be far from Kerbal Space Center. I'm going to thrust a little bit right now and try to get our periapsis lower. We can get it to 30. Of course, that helps recharge us. I wonder if we let's do this. We point our nose down. Alright, that's good. That pushed it out, but it also lowered it quite a lot. Let's auto here, because now we should be. This should be the continent with Kerbal Space Center. Yes. And look at that. We are going to land. Alright, we're coming from southwest to northeast. Not really our typical. I think that might be the Space Center blinking over there. In fact, yes, I believe it is. So I think we're actually going to land close to it. Alright, I'm going to put our stage here so our parachutes deploy, or at least they will as soon as they can, as soon as we drop. Yes, that is definitely the Space Center. We're a bit high and fast, but I think the parachutes initially deploy at 20, so we may actually... we're gonna pass it. I need the parachutes. Okay, engines don't overheat too badly. Oh. There goes. Apparently I didn't stage. There was a stage in the middle there previously. That's probably what activated. Yeah, I think we're going to come in over the water. I wanted to try to prevent that. But oh well. Let's put the gear down. There's no stopping us from hitting the water now. We just basically need to make sure we do it slow enough. We should get good recovery, over 90%, I think. Won't be too far. Although I can't tell. I mean, there's the island, so we're only a kilometer or two. Alright. The drogue chutes have opened. And slowed us to about 30 meters per second or so. Okay, we're about 1 kilometer up now. 500 meters, the rest of our chutes will open. And we'll see how much engines we'll have to use here. Alright, yeah, we're gonna need to use our engines. We're 10 meters per second. Ideally, like to be under 5. So I'm going to throttle up about 100 meters. We don't have... Probably have to hit full because we don't actually have that much thrust out of this setup. Okay... Throttling up. And we're down to about 6. That should be good. See there. Okay, that was a big splash. But, I don't think anything broke. Alright, let's recover. Recover vessel. And this episode has gone on quite a bit longer than I intended. But there we go. We got 3 contracts complete. 3. Alright. 23 experiments recovered. Crew report from Minmus' highlands. Seismic scan from Greater Flats. Temperature scan from Greater Flats. Surface sample from Greater Flats. EVA report from Greater Flats. Crew report from Greater Flats. EVA report from just above Greater Flats. EVA report from Midlands. Seismic scan from Midlands. Temperature scan from Midlands. Surface sample from Midlands. Surface sample from Highlands. EVA report from Highlands. Where was I? EVA report from just above the Highlands. EVA, that's Moon's Highlands. EVA report from just above Moon's northwest crater. Temperature scan from Highlands. Seismic scan from Highlands. Materials study from Greater Flats. Goo from Greater Flats. Materials study from Midlands. Materials study from Highlands. Goo from Highlands. Recovery of vessel from the surface of Minmus. All in all, we gathered 1,532 science for a total of 3,057 science. We could probably research everything if we had the money for it. Next, we got 64,000 funds back from. We got 1,000 funds just in fuel. Anyway, lots and lots of... Wow, those accelerometers are expensive. There's only one. 9 parachutes is just a bit greater than that. See, I can see a command pod being expensive, but 1 accelerometer? And of course, wow, Jeb gained 6 XP to advance to level 2. And Bill and Bob both gained 9 XP. Maybe I didn't EVA him. Maybe we should have taken him out on EVA. Alright, just before we finish up this episode, let's look at our contracts. Science from around the moon, we got 66,000 funds. Explored Minmus, we got 133,000 funds. And Explore Minmus, 18,000 funds there. We now have just under 2 million funds, and need it's 3.1 to upgrade the R&D facility. Yeah, that's we'll call that an episode, and I'll see you guys next time. We need to earn just about 1 million more funds, and we can upgrade the R&D facility and basically unlock the rest of the science that we need to go further afield. And well, that will be in future episodes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.